Hello everyone. As some of you might know, I just started playing the bass because I would love to become a bassist in a band. This has been a dream of mine for some years now, I would say 3 to 4 years already. I've always made music for my whole life. I would say I started playing the flute when I was 10 years old, and before I already made some musical workshops as well as a child. Here in Germany, this is, part of this whole musical journey that you start with a music workshop when you are in primary school, and that you then actually can learn how to play an instrument, and I chose the flute. I played flute for quite a while. I'm not doing it now as active as I used to be when I was playing in an ensemble, or for some time I was even part of an orchestra, of a little orchestra. Yeah, but I grew up with music. Music always played a huge role. I had some piano and guitar lessons, but the guitar lessons, I only had them in school. So it was kind of a school workshop. So it wasn't lessons at a music school. So bass is kind of new to me, playing an electric guitar or bass. It's something I never did before in that kind of way. And well, how I got to playing the bass is an interesting story. I actually became a bass fan when I listened to Dua Lipa's album Future Nostalgia. It was published some years ago, I think at the start of the pandemic. And many songs on the album do have a very funky bass line, a very dominant bass line. And it was the first time for me that I realized I love funk and I love funky bass lines, and I would love to have more bass solos in music. And so I knew that Dua Lipa's music was inspired by the 70s and 80s and the music back then. So, I listened to some more funk music, some more 70s disco classics, and I absolutely loved it. I listened to Chick, Earth, Wind and Fire, and other bands, other artists. And so I developed the idea how beautiful it would be if I could play these bass lines, and I really started loving the bass. And it doesn't matter in which kind of genre. I love funk music, but I really think a good song has to have a strong bass line, and somehow bass solo would be great. I think that the bass is actually an instrument that is often forgotten, but it's so important for a band, just as the drums. So I had this goal to start playing the bass. When there was a lot going on the last years. I moved the last year, so I was very busy with that. But I made the goal for this year that I would like to start playing the bass finally. And so I bought a bass in January, end of January, and started playing the bass in February. So I already practiced a little bit. It's slowly going into the right direction. I really try to learn with a system behind it. It's really important to me that I can play notes and not that I only learn a bass line by heart and can play it, but that I really can play notes. This is really important to me, and to have a system and to have a good technique, actually. Because this is also the way how I learned how to play the flute. And I really think that there has to be a system behind it. Because, of course, it can be fun to start learning a very famous bass line that is beginner friendly just right at the beginning, and to already being able to play it. But I, would like to have a certain technique behind it, and I really need a structure. So for now I don't have bass lessons at a music school or through an online course. I would love to try this out in the future, but for now I'm a self-taught bassist some kind of way. But because the structure was very important to me, I got this book, which is How Leonard's Bass Method, a complete edition, 2nd edition by Ed Friedland. It includes 3 books, and you can download some backtracks so that you can play to music and practice music as well. And right now I've already learned some notes on the E string and some notes on the A string, and I'm practicing how to change between the strings. Yeah, so I've already practiced a little bit, but I do have a challenge, because I have to practice a lot. That's something that I'm really aware of. If I want to become a bassist someday, I know that I won't be the best bassist all the time. I'm 30 years old, but it's never too late to start playing an instrument, especially if you've dreamed of this for some years. But I really have to practice a lot. So I really would like to establish a routine to practice every day, as much as I can, because with work and stuff there's always a lot going on, but I really would like to practice every day, even if it's 10 minutes on one day and an hour on the other. Yeah, to get a structure and a routine, and I will go on this journey together with you guys. And I'm starting today, so I'm very excited.